Hello and welcome to episode 79 of Afterglow, where today we're going to be going back and looking at an NES game that maybe you've heard of but you haven't thought about in a while, which is The Karate Kid. Of course, this game is rather infamous for being an NES LJN game, along with being an early feature on the Angry Video Game Nerd. However, I might have some different thoughts in this game. And on top of that, someone else might have some different thoughts in this game because we'll be joined by Keaton, making his second appearance on the Afterglow podcast. And we'll be discussing all of our thoughts and the memories of this game after our first music break. And welcome back. This episode, we're being joined by Keaton again.
Everybody, how you been?
Glad
really?
to have...
You've been up to a lot. Wow, that's great. Cool. Well, welcome back to Talking to Left Go there. What's up, bud?
I'm glad to have you back on. I was hoping to get the chance to bring you back. And this time we're going to be going over a game that's not quite as discussed.
No, this game does not get nearly the attention that Final Fantasy VI does, and I don't understand why. It's got all the same moves that Sabin has. Punches, kicks. It's missing a suplex, but that's about it.
It has an incredibly memorable main villain in Chosen.
Oh, yeah.
Up there with Sephiroth.
Who could forget Chosen in his walking towards you menacingly?
And just like Sephiroth, you fight him and follow him throughout the game.
Yeah. Oh, this one's all about like personal memories and stuff. You want to know the most interesting memory I have about all this game?
What's that?
I had not seen any of the Karate Kid movies. I had no idea what was going on in this game.
I'm kind of in a similar boat. I played this before I watched the movies. I did have to do some Googling, and whenever it came out, only the first couple of movies had come out, which makes sense because the game only covers the first couple movies. But yeah, I'd never watched Karate Kid until after I played this game.
I don't know why I got it. I don't know when I got it. I honestly still got my copy in box. But yeah, I played the heck out of it. I had no idea why I was catching flies, breaking ice blocks, or rescuing these people that would just randomly appear. No idea who they were, but I grabbed them and they refilled my health. So hooray, that's what I had to do.
This one was a loner game, so everyone did the game swap thing, and this is one of them. I swapped for a little bit, and I know the game gets a lot of hate. The Angry Video Game Nerd review kind of set that craze, and it is an LJN game, but honestly, it's not a bad game. It's short. It has a few flaws, but it's not anywhere near one of the worst games in the NES.
No, it's not bad at all. It's not great. It definitely does have its flaws, but it is better than so many other games out there because you know what to do and how to do it. Except for dodging swinging hammers. It's going to be a long time to figure out how to do that. But as far as this, you walk to the right, you punch, you kick, you beat the bad guys. It's a perfectly cromulent game, as opposed to like Friday the 13th, or Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, or I think it's Rocket Ranger, where you just have no idea what to do. I'm still not even sure what I was supposed to do in Section Z, or Infiltrator.
Well, this game did catch me in one area on the controls. I didn't realize for the longest time that you could save your special moves by pushing a direction as you're attacking. The way I always played the game, I would always let off the control pad before I punched or kicked, so I'd burn through my specials like really quickly.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's rough. That is rough.
But it wasn't too bad. Like going through the first stage is the only stage that has anything to do with the first movie, and that's the tournament.
Oh.
And it's just the 4 stages that you go through. You'll fight someone with a longer life bar each time. And how'd you fare?
Pretty well. Once I figured out that the secret is just walk forward and kick. Was that your battle strategy?
Yeah, it was just walk forward and attack relentlessly. It seemed to be the best way of getting through. I was kind of surprised to see Johnny had dyed his hair to be black instead of blonde like in the movie.
Oh, I never even noticed that. You're absolutely right.
I don't know if that's maybe a NES limitation or what, but I thought that this was a really good tutorial for the battle mechanics of the game.
I did too. I thought it was neat. I honestly thought it came back. I thought between the 3rd and the 4th stage there was another round of tournament fighting, but I guess not. I mean, that makes sense if there wasn't in the game, or in the movies.
Well, there is a 2-player mode. I don't know if you messed with it or not.
No, I did not.
Yeah, the 2-player mode is, it can be fun, but the idea needs to be whoever the better player is needs to play as Daniel, because the second player is always chosen, and he is not modified from his normal in-game version, which means he'll hit for more damage, and unlike Daniel, if he walks all the way to the right of the screen, he will warp over to the left hand.
What?
Yeah, so you want your more skilled player to be the Daniel, and then the guy that needs help, or needs the handicap, I guess, would be chosen.
Oh, that is hilarious.
So if
Like
you ever get the chance to play it with someone, it's entertaining, at least for a few rounds.
I might have to do that. I might get together with the crew. Like, you came over to play Mario Wonder, right? Yes, but first, Karate Kid.
Fooled you!
Oh.
But yeah, two-player can be entertaining. Like, I would play it a little bit with my sister, not a whole lot. And, of course, I would play as Daniel. She would play as Chosen.
Never got a chance to do 2-player. Oh, I'm sorry, go on.
Oh, no, I just wanted to bring it up just because no one really talks about the 2-player mode. It's kind of interesting for what it is. It's not as in-depth as, like, the Double Dragon 2-player mode, but at least it's there. It has an option if you have a second player there.
I mean, that actually is legitimately pretty cool that they put that in there, and it makes perfect sense for the game.
But for me, the game starts with the second level.
Yeah, using that first level as sort of a warm-up tutorial bit. That makes sense. How'd you like the second level?
I enjoyed it. Again, you walk left to right. You will not fight more than 2 enemies at a time. And early on in this game, I learned the trick to where if you could get 2 enemies behind you, you just keep them on screen, and you can just walk to the end of the level without anyone spawning in front of you.
I think I knew that as a kid. Because I remember as a kid that the way to get through the last stage was you could just get some guy to chase you, and then you wouldn't have to worry about as many spearmen and stuff. I knew that. I didn't know it was peak speedrunning strats. I just knew it as the cheap way to win.
It works great for the second and fourth stage, and we'll go into the third stage later. But on top of that, when did you find your first kind of like secret bonus game area?
I think I just instinctively knew. because I played a lot. I loved Zelda 2. I love the Adventures of Link. So just the idea of press up at a black space that might be a door was video game instinct. By that time.
I did not know for a while. I would like jump randomly and enter a bonus game. Like, what happened? Eventually, I figured out, okay, if it's a black area behind him, there's a chance of a bonus game in there. Out of the 3 bonus games, which one was your favorite?
Absolutely has to be catching flies with chopsticks.
Yeah, that one was fun.
The brain game was too difficult. The chopping block one is the ice block break is too short. Plus, that has that cheesy frustration factor of it bases it on your health.
Yeah.
So if you're just like about to die, then you're just not even going to break any blocks. That's not fair. That's not fun. But yeah, the chopsticks, catching the flies with chopsticks, just go around, catch flies, and I kind of got a pattern down. There's like boom, 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 and I love the music for those stages. So you get to hear the music.
Yep, my favorite was the flies too. Each fly, I noticed, if you can concentrate on one, they all do the same circular pattern. So for me, the more flies I catch, the easier it gets because it's easier for me to concentrate on which fly I'm targeting. But they all go in a counterclockwise circle.
Nice of flies to be so predictable like that.
It comes in very handy whenever you're trying to get your drum punches and crane kicks.
I forgot to do this when I went back to play it or to refresh my memory, but I do recall reading that if you catch no flies, a fly will land on Danielson's nose.
I don't think I've ever seen that. I'll have to go on YouTube and look that up.
Have to go try that.
And the second minigame then is the, I guess we'll call it the crane game? I'm not sure. I can't remember it more or less. Oh, the hammer. But more or less, you've got this swinging pendulum that you have to continually dodge, and once you dodge it 6 times, that's your perfect. But it speeds up with each go-around, and the timing is, like, really tricky. You have to hit the button, like, almost half a second before it makes contact with you.
When I was a kid, absolutely hated this, could never get it down. At one time I thought I was a genius because I figured out you could just hit the up button and jump over it. I am the smartest person ever. You don't get any points for that if you do that.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, it shattered all my little hopes and dreams real fast. Oh, this is great. This is so easy. And there's like 0 points, none dodged. I'm like, I dodged all of them. That's not a fair game.
I'm learning all kinds of new facts on this game.
That's good, because you taught me so much about Final Fantasy last time that I'm happy to repay the favor.
Yeah, I had no clue you could jump over it.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. It does not work out for you. I think the secret is you have to hit it right at the whoosh sound. And you have to face it. You have to be facing the drum, or else you do not dodge it.
And then we went over the ice game a little bit already, where it's more or less a timer game where your life meter goes up and down, and whenever it's at maximum, you want to hit the button. But it's also dependent on how much life you have, so if you go in with, like, even if I think it's like 3/4 life, you can't break all the blocks.
Yeah, and I very rarely have full health in this game.
But you can also get drum punches and crane kicks just by... occasionally you'll see a C or a D pop up on screen. You can jump up and grab it, and you also get, like, a couple bars of health, I think?
Yeah, a couple of bars of health. But yeah, so that just kind of leads to it's not as hard as everyone says it is. There are lots of chances to heal yourself, and you get extra lives if you beat up enough people. So yeah, I mean, it is unforgiving. When you run out of continues, you are done. You're back to the start. But it doesn't take you that long to get back to where you were.
No, and you can beat the game in 10 minutes, and honestly, the game does give you a lot of supplies when it comes to your special attacks whenever it comes to just getting a couple extra lives. And you can kind of choose your difficulty in the way, because you can beat the game legitimately, or you can do the thing where you just get two people behind you and walk to the end.
That's legitimate.
Mostly legitimate. Right. The game does throw you a curveball with the third level, though.
Oh, the third level. Yeah, let's get to the third level.
It plays like the second, other than the fact that you have wind blowing against you, and you have all sorts of stuff that is blowing at you, which will not damage you, but will knock you back.
Yeah, in the game, Daniel has hollow bones, and so getting knocked back just sends him flying very far.
Yep, and then there's bottomless pits in here. It's very easy to get Castlevania'd into a pit.
Yep.
And unlike Castlevania, you don't have a dedicated button for jump. Your two face buttons are for your punches and your kicks, so your jump is the up button on their D-pad.
Yeah, as it was meant to be. You want to go up, you press up. That makes sense.
It kind of works, but whenever your special attacks are also determined by if you're pushing a direction on the D-pad or not, it can get kind of tricky, for me at least.
Oh, yeah, no, it can absolutely be very frustrating. I'm just being a defender.
Oh, like I said, it's fine. Like, I don't know of any other way they could have done this unless you had, like, a dedicated jump, a dedicated attack button, and then select swapped between punches and kicks, but that wouldn't work quite as well because punches and kicks are kind of situational for me.
Oh yeah, no, that would have been a terrible idea.
Yeah, like, I don't know of any other way they could have done it. But speaking of cheesing, did you have any tips or tricks for the third level?
Yes. Like Mr. Miyagi teaches you, patience and perseverance. If you're not in the right place, if you can, always take the upper path. There is usually an upper path, and that gives you an extra. Because if you're on the upper route and you fall through a hole, now you're on the bottom route, but you're not dead.
Another Miyagi teaching is don't fight if you don't have to.
Yes.
Which brings us to the chosen boss in this level, where you don't even have to fight him.
So what?
Yeah, whenever you get to the end, Chosen walks out like you did at the end of the second level, but there's the girl that's on top of the, I call it the telephone pole, whatever it was, but the girl's up there. You can just jump up there and get her and end the level.
30 years.
Oh no!
30 years. I've been on and off playing this game. Guess what I just learned today? I was today's years old, Toby.
At least I learned a couple new things too. I didn't know about the jumping the hammer, and I didn't know about the fly if you missed them all.
Oh.
But yeah, this is the one chosen fight that you can just completely bypass. Just jump up there, get the girl, and you're done.
That's really cool. That is Mr. Miyagi's teachings right there.
And that brings us to level 4, where Daniel gets a sick wardrobe change.
One last thing. Yeah, okay, actually, yeah, that's pretty cool. One last thing about level 3. Again, I mentioned earlier I'd never seen the movies, so I didn't know the significance of rescuing Sato, who's been pinned under the rubble. I thought that sprite was a lion. I don't know. The boards around the head kind of look like a mane, and my brain, just not knowing what any of that was supposed to be, goes, we're just rescuing a lion. He's got these mane, he's hanging out there, why not? Sure.
Well, now it's my confession time, and I expect to be fully flamed in the comments for this. The list of Karate Kid movies I have seen are The Karate Kid, The Next Karate Kid, and the Jackie Chan, Jaden Smith Karate Kid. I've never seen the second one. Like my entire knowledge of the second movie came from this game as a kid, and even to this day, it comes from this game and a few clips on YouTube.
Oh, so then, what did you think was going on? Like, did you have any context for any of this as a kid?
There is a girl trapped in the storm, and Daniel has to go get her off a telephone pole. I don't know why she climbed the telephone pole. It's kind of like whenever a cat climbs a tree and gets stuck up there.
That makes perfect sense. And there's just some random guy that just wants her stuck up there for no reason.
He's guarding her. He's making sure that she don't come back down. And of course, the firefighters can't come out or anything. I didn't even know all this was taking place in Japan.
I didn't either. I didn't know what Okinawa was as a kid.
Okay. He's in Okinawa, Massachusetts. All right, cool.
Absolutely. We are the worst people to review this game.
But
I love it so much.
That's what makes it good, though, because again, like, we're coming in with more of a clear head to it, because this game's been done so many times online, and everyone's like, oh, it's too difficult, oh, it's just another LGN game. It's not that bad.
It's really not. I mean, it is difficult, but it has to be, or else you've got a 10-minute game if it's not.
Yeah, and once you know what you're doing, it's definitely a 10-minute game.
Oh.
Then you just have the 2-player mode to keep you warm.
Yeah.
So, level 4, the sun comes back out, and like I said, Daniel's got an awesome new wardrobe, and we get enemies with, I guess they're spears?
According to the enemy, or according to the manual, they are enemy with spear.
Okay. But they take 2 hits to take out. Or 1 hit if you just crane kick them.
It's literally... I'm looking at the manual. I'm sorry. Looking at the manual. It points to chosen, and it says chosen. And then it points to just a person that looks dressed exactly the same, but his hair is slightly different. It just says enemy / follower of chosen. And then it cuts to a third enemy with what appears to be a pompadour with holding the spear, and it just says enemy with a spear. It's just literally your enemy is just enemy.
So maybe all of these chosen that we're fighting, they're different chosen. Like, you beat the one in level 2 and he combs his hair the other way. It's like, I'm chosen now.
He is the chosen one.
What's she doing up there? I don't know, but she's gonna stay up there. Is it windy?
But yeah, fourth level is really cool. The spear enemies really threw me for a loop as a kid. It's like, oh crap, like, they've got spears. This is serious.
They're the ones that I tried to only crane kick, because I could time a crane kick perfectly to take them out. Then the regular enemies, I would, of course, drum punch till I ran out, because I didn't know how to save my special attacks. Oops.
That's fair. That's something you just have to learn through playing. No, I love that fourth level. The change. I really like the background. The scenery in it is beautiful for an NES game.
Yep, it's really well done. Now, again, because I haven't seen the movie, I have no clue where he's at. It's like they went to Arizona. This level looks like Arizona in my head to me.
The weird thing is, I'm not even sure it's that similar to the movie. I think in the movie they're fighting in a building, like you kind of do at the end of the game, because it's been a while since I've seen the movie. But yeah, like, I don't recall that last part, like fighting through the desert, or to steal the comment from somebody on YouTube, Mars kind of looks like he's fighting Chosen on the surface of Mars.
Yep. Now, the one thing that makes this level difficult for me is elevation. Because the elevation changes a lot, and it's very tricky to line up your attack with the enemy.
Yeah. The thing that makes it difficult for me is that it takes place after the Typhoon stage, and so I don't get to play it very often.
It's just a breather if I don't have anything to dodge.
Yeah.
They don't do damage. You can, take a bird in the face and it don't do any damage. Take a stick to the groin, you're fine, other than the fact that if it knocks you into a pit, you're dead.
So Daniel LaRussa stronger than Fabio is what I'm hearing.
Yep, that's pretty well lit. Unless he falls down the sewer grating and gets picked off by Pennywise.
Oh, yep.
That's my headcanon for how it's an instant kill at this point. It's like, it's a sewer grate. He meets up with Pennywise the Dancing Clown, and I don't care how much Mr. Miyagi teaches you, the clown's gonna get you.
That is true. Man, I want that crossover now. I really do.
Someone make the ROM hack.
Is there? I don't think there's a game based on it.
I don't think there is.
That would make a great NES, like NES retro pixel license.
Oh my god, that'd be so much fun. It's gotta be the Tim Curry version.
Oh, that would be perfect.
Like not trying to knock Skarsgård, because he did an awesome one too, but man, I love Tim Curry in that role.
I mean, yeah, if we're basing it on like retro graphics, you got to go with the Pennywise at the time, right?
Oh yeah. So you get to the third Chosen, which is in the 4th level. So he's combed his hair the other way. Did you have any issues taking him down at first?
It's been a while, but like, can't the girl like fall off the edge if you're not careful?
I never had that happen to me, but I had this weird thing where I thought I could instantly beat him by knocking him off the edge, and I would do that, and he just popped right back up with and I'm here like, oh, come on. Like, I don't even think it did any damage to him.
Oh, lame.
So I had to keep him on, like, the middle of the platform and more or less empty any specials I had left. But other than that, I didn't think it was too bad to take on.
I didn't get that far in my modern-day playthrough, but I want to say that the girl, if he, like, touches her, she scoots back a little bit, and she can fall off the edge.
And I assume that's an instant KO for Daniel.
Yeah. Yeah, she just does not handle heights well. So falling. That's why she didn't move from the tower until Daniel came to save her.
Technically, we never even saw him bring her down. I kind of wonder what the behind the scenes was in that. Especially if Daniel didn't fight Chosen, he's still waiting for him down there.
Now you're both stuck up there.
Well, now what? Smooth move, hero. So after the 4th level, there is an ending, and it is a short ending, like the game is short, but it's not the worst ending. Like, it's better than like the Ghostbusters ending.
Everything is spelled correctly, so yes, it is much better than the Ghostbuster ending.
You get a Mr. Miyagi sprite, a big Miyagi face, and he winks at you.
Top-notch graphics right there.
It's cute. I mean, first time it was cute.
It is, and it's fun, and it's Mr. Miyagi shows up to, like, even as a kid who'd never seen The Karate Kid, I knew of Mr. Miyagi, and yeah. I knew that he was amazing. So to have him show up and tell me I was great, that meant a lot.
For me, I got this game by borrowing it, but if I had rented this game, this would be the perfect rental. Just to have all weekend to figure the game inside and out, and I'd probably beat it within the weekend and take it back. I'd get my, $2 worth out of it right there and be like, okay, that was fun. I might go back and get it again here in a few months.
Really think you're right. That is the perfect amount of time for this game.
Now, I would be maybe a little frustrated if I had spent, $50 to purchase a copy and then, 2 or 3 days in, I've beaten it. But even then, like, it was a different time and a different era. Like, I beat Halo 2 the night I got it, and I don't remember being upset, but I feel like I'd be upset if I beat this the night I got it.
I owned it for a long. I owned it for a long time before I beat it. At that age, I was not as skilled as I am now with games. So yeah, it took me a while to beat it, and it just felt good. I would pop it in every so often and play it and beat it. But again, like, to be fair, this one was a gift from someone. So I had no concept of money spent on the game.
It's a good game as a palate cleanser too. Like, if you're playing Mega Man 2 and you get knocked off the platform by the dragon and you throw your controller and freeze your game. This is the perfect game. It's like, no, I'm gonna pop this in just.
And how awesome is that opening music?
Oh, they did a fantastic job on a good chunk of the music. They're short, but they're well done.
Yeah, I love that opening. Like, when I put this back in, I hadn't played it in like 20 years because too many games I've played. I loved this as a kid, and then you put it in and you're like, oh, why did I love this as a kid? This is not good. So I didn't want to do that with this game until you invited me on the show. Thank you again. Happy to be here. And so I'm like, you know what? I have to play it again. And I put it in. I'm like, oh wait, no, this is not bad. This music rocks. So the music, brought me right back to the happy place. And yeah. So like 30 years, and I still was like, oh yeah, this music. I remember this music.
They did really good with making the music fit too. Like, the tournament music feels like tournament music.
Mm-hmm.
The bonus game, it feels like training music.
Yeah.
Even the Chosen Boss music kind of, has a little bit of, I guess I want to say aggression to it compared to the stage level music, which fits.
What did you think of, like, the boss fights? Other than the one that you could skip, apparently. They kind of felt a little lacking to me.
They were glorified standard enemies, other than the last one where I knocked him to the pit and he has bounced right back with no damage. I'm like, what? Oh, come on.
I mean, I guess that's fair. They do feel a little bit more like just a standard enemy fight, but that last one does throw in an entirely new mechanic with the island and the girl that I'm pretty sure can fall if you fight too long. So yeah, I give a little more credit.
Yep, but I thought that they did. I mean, for an early NES game, it could have gone a lot worse.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and they also stayed fairly true to what I know of the Karate Kid as well. Like, it seems like everything kind of flows in line with the movie. I would feel very weird if Chosen came in looking like a Bobo.
You know what? I think you're right. I'm kind of like it. It does a good job of sticking to the movie, and I think that as a licensed property, it does not get enough credit for that. Again, like, how many games, even LGN games, have we seen that are like Jaws is based on the movie, except it's nothing at all like the movie. You run around in your submarine collecting shells. That's not the movie. In Friday the 13th, you're throwing rocks at zombies and collecting sweaters and dealing with the floating severed head of Jason's mom. That's not any of the movies.
Now, I do have to
So
stress it's from what I know of the second movie, which, again, is YouTube clips. So I know Daniel's in Okinawa. I know there's a storm at some point, and I know that Chosen raises his hand against the chick, and that makes Daniel fight him in an area at the end. That's what I know.
yeah, but like that's all you need, right? That's the movie. Daniel's fighting Chosen. He runs into him at the opening at the marketplace, I assume. They fight. He fights him at the end on the party surrounded by everybody. That's where you fight him in the game, kind of, sort of, in the last level. So yeah, it actually does a pretty good job of capturing the feel of the second movie and kind of the first, with the tournament. So yeah, weird that it's not Karate Kid 1 and 2, but that's just being nitpicky at this point.
Now, interesting thing, Karate Kid 3 came out in '89.
Okay.
Do you think that if they would have waited a couple years to release this game, they would have made like a Karate Kid trilogy game?
I think so. And I think you probably would have had a bit more variety then, instead of fighting Chosen so many times.
That would have given them, I think, an extra couple years, I want to say.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been bad. Sprinkle in some other the enemies from 3.
Yeah, because
I don't know that much about
Karate Kid for NES came out in '87. The third movie came out in '89, so that will have given them at least a couple years to kind of toy with what they could do with the NES. Maybe throw in one of those cool mapper chips that Nintendo had.
Yeah. I mean, that would be interesting to see what a Karate Kid game would be like in a world in which they waited for all three movies to come out, because you'd have like 2 or more years of different graphics to work on. But no. I like this game as it is. It's, sure, we've dogged on a couple of frustrations, but overall, like you said, it's a fun playthrough. It's a fun experience.
Yep, it does not deserve the modern day reputation it has.
No, it does not.
So what we're trying to say is go play the Karate Kid and remember the NES.
Yes. Don't listen to the mob. Get out there and play that game. It's better than they say it is. They only say it's bad because they've never played it. And they don't have the courage to do it. But you do, dear listener. You have the power. You've got the touch. Wait, wrong franchise.
I mean, if you want to play this game and not have a good time, you could use the Power Glove.
Ooh. It's so bad.
Or you could just cheat and use the D-pad and buttons there on the Power Glove, just take it off and...
Isn't that how were you supposed to? I'd never had a Power Glove. Were you supposed to be able to, move your hand and do stuff?
Yes, certain games actually had profiles that were meant for it. You would actually, put in a code on the glove itself, depending on what game you were playing. And it was supposed to calibrate the glove to that game, and more often than not, it didn't work very well, but it was a neat idea for the time.
Sounds like ye old-fashioned Wiimote.
Yeah, they knocked it out of the park with the Wiimote. That was better, at least. I enjoyed the Wii.
Oh man, and we are definitely off topic here, so we'll probably wrap up soon. Plus, we've talked for 45 minutes about Karate Kid.
Yes. Who else? Where else can you go online to find two middle-aged men talk about a 1980s Karate Kid video game for almost an hour?
Yeah. Alright, I'm passionate about the things I like, and for all its flaws, I like this game.
It is worth a playthrough. I'm not saying go out and buy it if you want to, do that emulation thing. I don't think anyone could blame you, and LJN's not around anymore, so I don't think there's royalties to be had.
I'm gonna I say go out and buy it, it's got to be like $10 at your local retro store.
Oh, you want to do a how much is this game moment?
Yes. If you got the information, let's do it.
I can pull it up real quick. Oh my god. Okay, so
how much is this game? Copyright Secret Levels Podcast.
We get the music from Toby. What do you think it's going for?
Do what you want, cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate.
Go on.
What do you think it's going for? Bear Cart. We'll steal the entire shindig.
I'd say probably I'm gonna go with $15. Shout out to Tall Hands.
You're pretty well right. If you include shipping, $10 plus $4.31 shipping.
$5 window, baby.
Heck yeah. So, CIB, you get the game, you get a box, you get a manual.
I don't want to know this. I don't want to know this because I have my box, but it's beaten all to heck and back. And I don't know, I got rid of the manual at some time.
I only see... Oh, there's two. Okay, so that gives me more of a range.
All right,
okay.
All right. Gonna guess. The base one's 10. Factor in that the menu, that the cardboard's not as reliable as a nice Sega box. I'm gonna go with 45.
You're good again. $40.
Woo! Boop, 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 boop. Got my sound effect.
And I'll have to edit it all in post, but we're definitely playing the pirate music in the background of all this since I'm stealing this bit from Secret Levels.
But if for somehow you've stumbled onto this and aren't familiar with Secret Levels, you should definitely go check it out. It's a fun podcast, and you should definitely check out... I was going to say check out the Retro Olympics, but you already promoted the Retro Olympics. Thank you again for that. I really appreciate it.
Hey, it's all good. Like I said, I upload my own version. I will not spoil it, but I appreciate it, and I appreciate all the listeners who are now listening to an award-winning podcast.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, if you want to talk to Keaton and even myself, you can find us on the Secret Levels Discord. I'm honestly on their Discord more than I am on my own Discord, so what's that tell you?
It's a good Discord.
Keaton, what other podcasts would you recommend? You've always got something that's just out there to recommend. What have you got for this?
All right. So podcast-wise, if you're looking for good, in-depth look at a select game, I'm going to go with Pixel Project Radio. They do, or Rick over there, he'll take a game he likes, break it down why it's awesome. He also has a music degree, so he will put a lot of emphasis on the music stuff that you might pick up subconsciously, but he can more articulate into better words. If you're looking for up-to-date news, we've got List Off with Ryan and Brian. They're pretty good, so is Respawn Aim Fire. If you want great interviews, I recommend Still Loading Podcast. And if you're looking for just a couple of guys shooting the breeze that's not Secret Levels, I recommend Retro Hangover Podcast. If I didn't mention your podcast, it's not that I don't love you, it's that I realize I'm out of time. But before I go, one last thing I do want to mention, there is a new game coming out. And by new game, I mean in the making for 30 years. For those fans who love the old puzzle games, Shadowgate, Deja Vu, or The Uninvited, the original sequel to Shadowgate is coming, being released on Steam, maybe in about a week. From the time this drops, a couple of days. So it is called Beyond Shadowgate. They found the notes from the original planned sequel to Shadowgate, another point-and-click adventure game, not the weird thing that we got on Turbo X, and not that weird clunky mess we got on Nintendo 64. Bless its heart, it tried. But this is an honest to goodness point and click adventure sequel to Shadowgate. It's huge, it sounds really cool, and there's just not a lot of people talking about it. But I've been waiting for this sort of thing for 30 years.
I have it on my wish list. Just looking at the video and the screenshots, it looks like... Imagine if you took Shadowgate from the old Apple II and from the NES, but you made it 16-bit and you expanded it like mad. Like, that's what it looks like. It looks incredibly fun. And it's got, I believe, bonus moments dedicated to Uninvited and Deja Vu. And since Toby from Secret Levels is a coward and won't do Uninvited... Be sure to check it out. Like, I'm looking here, Shadowgate compared to Beyond Shadowgate. Original Shadowgate, 43 rooms, Beyond 250, so it's 5 times as large. Course, bunch more items, more monsters, more puzzles. I don't know about you. My favorite part about Shadowgate was the death animations, right?
Oh, those deaths are so amazing.
There's 180 in this.
Dude.
I can't wait for this. And no, we're not sponsored by Zojoy or the makers of Beyond Shadowgate. However, leftco@gmail.com, and I will be a dirty sponsor whore if I have to for your game.
Oh, like say, I found out about it because I bumped into the guy who designed the board game at Gen Con this year, which is a giant board game convention. And he was talking, he's like, yeah, no, like, it's coming out. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, the sequel's coming out. And so that was really cool. Coincidentally, there's a board game based on the Shadowgate 2014 remake, remaster. I can never remember the difference. But it's also a lot of fun, and they're coming out with a version of it that is using the original sprites and graphics for the item and stuff. So that's, yeah, board game's going to be really cool too.
That's going to be awesome. So,
okay,
with
I'm
that
done.
being said, yeah, I think we're done plugging. Thank you again for
Shadowgate.
listening. Like I said, I think we spent 45 minutes talking about Karate Kid, and then maybe another 5 or 10 talking about Shadowgate. So go check that out, though. And again, thank you, Keaton, for coming on, and hopefully we can catch you in a few months for another episode.
Woohoo! Sounds fun. Thank you very much for having me, and I will see you next time.
Yep, have a good one.
You too.
If you are looking for more things Afterglow, please be sure to check out the show notes section. In there you will find a link tree that will give you links to our Patreon, our Discord, our merch store, our YouTube channel, and more. And if you're looking for other people to listen to, please check out friends of the show like Retro Gaming Roundup, Secret Levels, which we talked about them a lot in this episode, and thanks again to Secret Levels for unknowingly let us more or less steal their bit. And also be sure to check out Grim on the Lost and Gone podcast. Thanks for listening, and we will catch you on the next episode.